Hello and welcome to our second episode in our Crusader Kings 3 tutorial series, version 1.0.2. Where we last left off, we got married, we discussed stats, and our traits as well as our lifestyle. In this episode, we're going to discuss managing a small realm, security, council, and holdings. So to start off, we'll go ahead and start with the council. To access your council, you're either going to hit F4 or you're going to click this little seat right here. And it's going to open up a window with 5 different courtiers or vassals assigned to jobs related to each one of the 5 basic statistics. You're also going to notice your spouse here, who, as long as they're not a ruler, will be able to assist you in any one of your 5 stats as well. If they have land of their own and they are not your direct vassal, they will not be able to assist you. If they are your direct vassal and they hold land, they can still assist you. So when we discussed yesterday congenital traits or statistics, this is what I meant by marrying for stats. Your wife can help you, and depending on her statistics, she'll be able to provide you those. So as you can see here, she can increase our martial by 6, her martial is 9. She can increase our diplomacy by 3, hers is 4. And you can see the relationship there. The higher her stats, the more she'll be able to assist you. When we left off yesterday, we talked about how we want to make sure we're secure against enemies attacking us, as well as we want to go ahead and expand and try to complete our duchy. So we're going to go ahead and assign our wife to chivalry to give us 6 additional martial. That will increase our martial to 21 and increase our levy size bonus from 12% to a whopping 26. So great start there. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at our learning here. Now, this is going to be a bishop if you are playing as a Christian character, or a subholding of a temple building if you are a Muslim, or any other religious group. Now, in our case, it's just our courtier, and we have a couple different options we can do here. Now, all of our counties are our own faith, so we don't need to convert, but if one of these were, you could assign them to that. You can also assign them to religious relations, which will increase our piety per month related to her learning skill. As you can see, it is a 1/2 ratio, or potentially increase theocratic ruler opinion. Now, we don't have any landed temple holders, but that's the opinion it would increase of. If you were a Catholic, it would be your bishops, the Pope, so on and so forth. Now, the last thing we can do with them is, unlike in CK2 as your chancellor, you can set them to fabricate on a county. So the way that works is you go ahead and click it, and the closer it is to you, i.e. if it borders you, it'll have the shortest time, and the farther away you go, as you can see the monthly progress there, the farther it increases the time. So because it is claiming a non-adjacent county, it reduces the monthly progress by 2.9, and so it can take 3 years. Whereas if it was next to us, it'll take 17 months. So that is how that works. We don't actually need to claim any counties in our case, so we're just going to have her improve our piety. The second type is the Chancellor. If you assign them to foreign affairs, they can increase the opinion by creating a correspondence between your surrounding countries. They will also statically increase your prestige per month, and as you see there with possible side effects, let's say we went to war with the High Chieftain here and we had a 5-year truce. There is a chance that our Chancellor will be able to say that it was not a justified truce, and it'll actually remove it outright, so we can attack them again immediately without being a truce breaker. That is the secondary effect of foreign affairs. We can assign them to domestic affairs, which will, as you can see there, increase direct vassal opinion, and it has these side effects here: vassal opinion, ending wars, forcing partition, which means that they have to enable Gallican succession. They can also integrate titles. We have no valid title for this, but if we were a kingdom of empire, we can use this to integrate a county or duchy into our de jure realm, something we can discuss later. Your marshal can be sent to organize levies, which will increase the reinforcement rate based on their martial skill. As you can see, there is a flat 5% plus their active martial. And then possible side effects: increased military presence, which increases the popular opinion of a county, which we will discuss in a second. And then, because he's not quite skilled enough, there is these negative side effects that can happen. Levy desertion, insufficient guards, which provide negative modifiers for a province. Second thing he can do is train commanders, which, again, the base 5% reduction, combined with this thing, reduces the cost of man-at-arms, which we will discuss in the combat section, finding new commanders, and these effects here. In general, I like to assign organized levies for the most part, especially when we plan on going to a lot of combat. If, however, you're getting most of your levies from your vassals rather than your own direct controlled land, assigning trained commanders is a good choice. The last thing he can do is increase control in a county. Control is this modifier here. It is normally increased by base 0.1 per month. Because we have the authority focus in our lifestyle, it is an additional 0.3. At 100, there are no benefits or negatives, but as it goes underneath 100, it actually decreases the amount of levies and taxes you get proportional to the percentage control missing. When you conquer a county, it reduces the control by 40. So let's say we were to go to war with this gentleman here, and we were to conquer this county, let's say. What would happen is that the control would go down to 60 because we just conquered it, even lower for foreign faiths and foreign religions. Different events can reduce control, and so you can assign your counselor, marshal, to increase that even faster. So to get that up and get it to being a nice productive province. Your steward can be assigned to collect taxes. Now, this is a holding wide bonus. So this domain taxes applies to all of your holdings, not just one. And he is skilled enough that we can get extra taxes. If he is less skilled, again, same thing with the marshal. Negative modifiers to provinces can apply. He can also increase county development and reduce construction time and development growth. Now, development, if you click on a particular province, as you can see here, development 2 is right underneath control, development 3, so on. All development does is it provides a supply limit increase and provides bonuses to the tax and levy when it gets high enough. So the development in this area is obviously very low. It is not a very rich, not a very populous section, so the development is rather low. If, however, we were to go to, say, Constantinople, we can see the development is a whopping 25, providing a 3,750 supply limit increase, as well as levy and tax increase of about half of the development. As you can see there, 12%. Development growth is modified by two different things. If the province next to yours has a higher development, it will increase. So as we can see here, we have 1.9 growth from neighbors. And the reason that is because Constantinople has 25, this has 6, so the development is going to increase. We should be able to see that here as well. The growth is 0.1 because the difference between them is only 1 rather than 19. So because the difference in develop is only 1, we get a 0.1 increase per month. Because the difference over development is 19, they get a 1.9 increase. So that's how that works. It's not a huge modifier, but it does add up over time. And if you don't really have anything else for your counselor to do, or if you'd like to grow really tall, you can do increased county development. The last person is your spy master. You can use them to disrupt schemes, support schemes, or find secrets. Secrets are related to hooks, which we will discuss in a later episode, but as you can see there, there's a 30% chance of learning one, with the negative effect of them discovering that that's what we're having our spy master do. Supporting schemes will increase hostile scheme power. So let's say we had a vassal, I don't know, here, and we were wanting to kill them because we were their heir. We can go ahead and assign him to support that scheme to try to increase the power as well as the scheme success chance with these negative here. And the last thing we can do is disrupt schemes. So this increases our resistance against hostile schemes as well as revealing the discovery based on the spy master's ability. One thing you have to be really careful about is if you have any secrets and your spy master is a low skill level, They will often reveal your secret to your vassals and courtiers, giving them blackmail options against you, potentially revealing a murder, so on. So you do have to be careful with disrupt schemes if your spy master is a low skill and you have potentially dangerous secrets. It's one thing to keep in mind. The next thing we're going to go ahead and discuss, as I sort of alluded to before, is just sort of realm security and managing a realm. So here is what you can see here as the base holding. So this is our thing. It provides 0 levy and 0 taxes due to being above domain limit and so on. There are no buildings in here, so it provides 250 garrison, 250 levies. I might have to have this tick over the month to access. But as you can see, this is generating 328 levies, 1.6 tax, 492 levies, so on and so forth. The buildings that your county has are located here. So we can click on our barony for say, and you're going to see this has a sparring ground, which applies these benefits. This one has a trading outpost, which provides those benefits. Sorry, it got a little loud because I zoomed in and it was providing ambience. I apologize about that. Now, as we zoom out, we can also see that there's these sub-holdings here. So if we take our main barony, which our capital is located here, as indicated by this flag, as well as this 1.0 realm capital modifier you can see there. That is a flat bonus. That is not a percentage increase. You can see how it'll highlight different sections. So if we weren't a tribal leader, what we could do is we could actually construct holdings here. So we could construct cities, we could construct temples, which would be sub-holdings underneath us. So these would be our direct vassals. If our count owned a county here, he would own these direct vassals underneath. We can't build any new buildings because we are a tribal leader. But if we take a look, let's say here. So let's click on this county. It has now been highlighted, as you can see here. We see one barony here. We see a second barony here, a bishopric, and a city. So we could, there's only 4 slots in this particular province. They cannot build any more sub-holdings because there's no more room to build them. Each of these sub-holdings gets its own set of buildings, as you can see. And you cannot build a second barony before a bishopric and a city are built. So if we look at, let's say, this province, where there's a barony here and a city here, you can't build a second barony because there's no room. And in this case, where there's a barony here and a city, there has to be a temple here built before they can build another castle. So that's kind of how that works. As you get into the game more, you'll go, in general, it's better to upgrade your buildings first before you move on towards building more holdings. So if we take a look at our holding here, we can see it already has a base tax supply, which is more important as the earlier you get your building, the more impactful that money over time is. Underneath here, we can build fort levels. They provide levies. These are modifiers that affect your entire army. They affect your men-at-arms. So that's kind of how that goes. And depending on the terrain of different environments, you can build different buildings. So for instance, if we click in here, we're going to see gathering halls and palisades. In farmlands, you can build manors if you're a Catholic. If you are a feudal lord. So he could build a manor in here if he wanted to, because it is a farmland, so on. And as you play more, you're going to get access to sort of getting the ideas. So we're not going to build any buildings just yet. Although maybe, for example, we should. Let's say we wanted to build a market because we want to get more money. So, okay, let's take a look. We already have heavy infantry and skirmisher damage. We have some levy provided there. We have trading posts here. So let's just build something here. Actually, what I'm going to do, I know I just said I'd build perhaps a market, but let's just get some more levies. So we'll build some gathering halls in our capital. Or war camps even? Yeah, war camps, sure. So that's going to take 5 years. It'll cost us 82 gold. It'll provide us 150 levies when it's done. And each building has a series of upgrades. As you can see here, this is the first level, and this is the second level. If I click on this trading post, I can see the same thing here. And depending on what the building is, it'll have any number of up to, I believe, 8 levels of increase. So that's the different buildings and holdings. that accompany the game, and that's the new way that subholdings work. So rather than just a single province having anything beneath it, we actually need space to build subholdings, and there are building slots for each different subholding. Okay. The last thing we're going to discuss is popular opinion. So as you can see here, the popular opinion of this particular province is +5. At 0 or higher, there is no negative, but if popular opinion gets low, either through control being low, as in you just conquered a province, or through events, eventually rebel uprisings will appear in this faction section. So you want to make sure that you keep popular opinion at least somewhat decent, so that you don't end up with a giant rebel army spawning in all of your different counties. If you are in offensive wars for too long, popular opinion will go down over time. And that is really the only major non-event source of popular opinion other than control of a province being low. At the moment, that is all I can think of in regards to council holding and realm security. But of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And we're going to go ahead and get into combat and conquest in the next episode. One last thing I forgot to mention, I do apologize, is domain limit. So, as you can see here, we hold these 4 different counties here. Now, our domain limit is only 3. Or 2, actually. It went down for some reason. It was 3 a moment ago, when we first loaded into the game. If we, let's say, assign her to manage domain, let's go ahead and let a month tick and see if that increases to 3. Okay. And the benefits and negatives are scaling relative. So it's a 20% cut to your levy and your income for every domain you're over. So if we look at, let's say, Ponzan here, and we look at the levies, it hasn't updated yet, but being over your domain limit provides a 20% penalty to both the income from the taxes as well as the levies for each number you are over. Domain limit, you can see here, we're getting 1 from our stewardship. We gain an additional 5 points of stewardship, provides 1 additional domain limit. So our stewardship is 7. If we were to get our domain limit to 10, our stewardship to 10, we would get a second domain limit. We'd go up to 4. We're going to go ahead and just hold on to this for now. Having an entire province is still better than a 20% penalty, so we're just going to hang on to it, because we do not want to assign any... We don't want to give the land away, essentially. This land isn't very useful now, but it'll become useful as the newer acquired holdings. You'll see that'll end in 1 year, and it'll provide us our tax and levy. Because it was recently acquired and we're over our domain limit, it currently provides nothing, but it'll provide a 20% penalty on the normal levy and tax when that expires. So, in the next episode, we're going to go ahead and talk about conquest, and we'll go ahead and try to secure our duchy. For now, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.